Do you want everybody to see you in the daytime and see the road and objects really well at night? Well, stay tuned for our install on the Shark Demon headlights from Custom Dynamics. Okay, today we're going to do the install on the Shark Demon Custom Dynamic headlights on this 2018 Road Glide. It takes about 20 to 25 minutes. I'll give you a list of all the tools. That way you can do it yourself at home. Let's start off with removing the windshield. These screws you can just loosen all four, slide the windshield off, and then come back and take the screws the rest of the way out. That ensures that you won't be letting the windshield fall on the ground or anything like that. Once they're loose, it pops right out. Next, we'll take the screws the rest of the way out. Okay, the next step, we're going to remove the wind vent. Sometimes they come off in two pieces, sometimes they come off in one. This part just clips on, so you just give it a little bit of a pull on each side, pops right off. We'll put these over with the windshield. Okay, now next you're going to grab your T25 Torx and you're going to remove just the lower screws down here by the little wind vents. No need to take the top ones off. They actually don't hold the outer fairing on. Okay, next I'm going to take a long flat blade screwdriver. I'm going to come in from the back and pop the little clips out for the speaker grills. I prefer doing it like this instead of coming in from the front, because then you run the risk of damaging the paint on the inner fairing. So we'll take off one, then the other. There we go. Now, with your 3/16 Allen wrench, you're going to take the two 1/4 20 bolts out of the turn signals, one on the left and one on the right. Okay, now that those are removed, we're going to take our T27 and we're going to loosen the two 1/4 20 bolts right by the speakers. I go ahead and stand in front of the fairing. That way it doesn't want to fall off, because at this point these are the last two bolts. Now if you notice, I haven't undone the turn signals yet. Those will be next, just as the last line of defense to keep this fairing from dropping on to your front fender. Now that that's off, we can remove the fairing and we'll put it somewhere safe. Okay, now with a panel popper tool, we'll remove these two clips in the fairing that are connected to the stock OEM headlight. Now we can grab our 3/16 T-handle again. Get my chair, and we're going to undo the 4 Allen head bolts that hold the headlight in. Now for the last one, you will want to support the headlight, hold it in place. There is the adjuster on the bottom of the headlight that kind of falls into a little detent, gives you a little bit of extra security from it falling out. Alright. Now that that's done, it's just the one connector on the back of the headlight, and we'll put this over here. Now we're ready to go ahead and install our headlights onto our cradles. I start off with putting the one in the back of the light first on each side. And I get those running, get them running by hand. Then the one in the front. Okay, and now with the 10mm socket, I snug up the non-adjustable bolt into the Shark Demon light. We will do the front adjustable bolt once they're on the bike and we're actually aiming the headlights for the final time. Okay, now we take our bulkhead mount, and with the same stock screws that your headlight came with, we're going to put these back in, starting with the two top ones first. And then the two bottom ones. At this time, tighten the two top 3/16 Allen socket heads all the way, but leave the bottom ones loose as you'll need to take them back out to mount the fascia panel. We put all four of them in, however, just to make sure everything's lined up. Okay, now I take this bundle of quick disconnects that aren't being used and I tuck them underneath the radio to have them out of our way. Okay, now that the bulkhead bracket is in, we can now move on to putting the headlights and the harness in. We take our connector and put it in to split the Deutsch connectors, one coming out each side. Now we grab a headlight. The large tab will go to the outside on each side of the bracket. So this one here will be a clutch side. We get it all plugged in. Tuck the connector into the bulkhead bracket. And get our first bolt started. Okay, just don't tighten any of the bolts up until they're all in. Okay, now you can tighten up all four on the clutch side light. Now on to the other light. Plug it in. Tuck the connector in behind the bulkhead. Start off with one bolt. All right, now go ahead and tighten all four of them down. Okay, now it's time to aim your headlights. The trick is to simulate what the bike's going to be going down the road in optimal conditions. So we want to have a 25-foot space between the front axle and a flat wall. We want to simulate it with the rider and passenger on the bike with the tire pressures set at where they should be. At that point, we take a measurement from the ground to the very center of this headlight. Once we do that, we go over to the wall and we put a piece of tape at that height and another line or another piece of tape 2 inches below. Then you turn your headlights on low beam, and we want it to be lined up with the lower piece of tape at the top of the beam of the headlight. Once you hit high beam, you should be lined up with the top piece of tape. That's all there is to it on adjusting headlights, and you'll find that it works really well when you're going down the road. Next, we'll go ahead and turn these lights off, grab a 10mm wrench, and secure the 4 remaining bolts for the adjustment on the headlights. So now we'll tighten up these 4 10mm bolts to secure the headlights into place. Okay, I've already removed the 2 3/16 Allen socket head bolts from the lower bulkhead bracket. Now I'm going to go ahead and put them back in with the fascia panel. Remember to always never tighten the bolts until everything is in. Now you will have one remaining little short metric stainless steel Allen socket head, and that goes in between, that holds the fascia to the bulkhead bracket. This one we can go ahead and tighten up. And now off to the 2 bottom 3/16. At this point, we're ready to put the outer fairing back on. So let's get to it. Okay, so in the reversal order of taking your fairing off, it's time to reassemble the fairing. Again, I always put my turn signal wires on first for that extra level of protection. Next to the black T27 1/4-20 bolts that are right by the speaker. Just get them both started. That'll keep the fairing from falling off the bike. Now you can grab your T27 driver, and holding the fairing towards the back of the motorcycle, snug it up some. That helps everything else line up. At the same time, make sure the lower side wing is in the correct position, not sticking out too far. Okay, now we're going to reinstall the lower outer fairing screws with a T27 driver. And do the same thing on the opposite side. Now with your 3/16 Allen driver, put your lower turn signal bolts in. Now it's time to reassemble the air deflector. Now on to reinstalling the 4 windshield screws, but just get them started, do not tighten them yet. Slide your windshield back in at this point. Now you can tighten all 4 screws for the last time.
Whoa, wait! Don't go anywhere until you like and subscribe to make sure you get notified every time we post our how-to videos, our product reviews, and all of our amazing interviews with your favorite racers and industry icons. I'll see you guys next time.